What does it mean to have a relative extremum? And how can you go about finding those in general? Let's say we have some graph. Maybe it looks like this. I'm purposely putting a lot of weird stuff in there. Now, a relative extremum just means if you zoom in, that's going to be the max or the min. So like right here, that is a maximum, because if I were to look at just some little window right here, that's a maximum. Likewise, this one's a maximum, because if I look in some small window, that's a maximum. But there are minimums as well. So say right here, that's a minimum. And we have another one over here. Now you're probably thinking, what about this one? Why isn't that a minimum? Well, if I look in some small window like this, yeah, that would be a minimum. But it's a little different. In fact, it really depends what's going on here. I didn't draw this graph very accurately, but if I do this, well, yeah, now that is a minimum. But this point right here would not be a maximum because I don't have a dot there. So that's what a relative extremum is if we zoom in, we see that. Now, how do you find these? Well, the only way you could possibly have a relative extremum is if, first off, the derivative, so let's say f prime of x, is 0. If the derivative is 0, that means you went up and you start coming back down. So at this point, the derivative is 0. Same thing with a minimum, in fact. It doesn't matter if you're looking for a max or a min, the derivative will be 0. But wait, what about here? The derivative's not there. There is not 0. Here, the derivative is undefined. The derivative isn't defined since the limit doesn't exist. And so to find these extremum, you need to find these, what we call them, critical points, where the derivative is either undefined or 0. Then we need to figure out, are they in fact max or mins? In fact, they don't always have to be a max or a min. They could be nothing. And so now after you do that, you have to use another test to determine. Generally, that would be the first derivative test or the second derivative test. And we'll get into that in another video. If you like this video, be sure to take a look at my next video where I will explain what an absolute extremum is and how to find it. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss out on any more helpful hints.